All right. Well, thank you so much for joining today. So my name is Pauline, and I am part of the client success team here at Tinq. And my goal is just to make sure that all of their clients are being successful in using Tinq and helping them in any way possible. It's a joy to have you today as one of Tinq's clients, E3 Radio with Anna DeShawn. So we're hoping to learn a little bit about you, Anna. So maybe you can just do a quick introduction for us.
Sure thing. Thanks so much for having me. So I'm Anna DeShawn. Pronouns, anything respectful is great. And I'm a Chicago-based social entrepreneur. I started E3 Radio a decade ago as a passion project. And in February, I decided to quit my job for a number of reasons between COVID and life and reevaluating time, no pun intended. Here in this conversation, it was just time to make that big leap. So been doing it full time since February. And we are an online radio station playing queer and independent music in high rotation with an R&B and hip hop vibe. And it's been a roller coaster ride and really exciting. And anyone watching, you can tune in anytime. We're live 24/7, 365 at e3radio.fm.
That's amazing. So 10 years ago. So you were working full time, you came into E3 Radio 10 years ago, and you're the founder of E3 Radio, correct?
Correct.
That's amazing. So you were sitting there 10 years ago, and how did the inception of E3 Radio come about?
Sure, I was learning about all these amazing Black women, right, that I had never heard of before. And I was furious. I'm just like, why in the world am I not taught about Fannie Lou Hamer and, Elaine Brown and some other amazing women, right? Ella Baker, I can go on and on. And it infuriated me. And I was like, how can I shift this? How can I change the narrative? Here, as someone who was studying radio, television production and broadcasting, I've always been into communications. I thought I could do PSAs and PSA campaigns for college radio stations, and I thought that could be a great idea. Well, I mean, that did not work. So I decided, some years passed, and I decided that I could just start my own show and play my own commercials and control the narrative, right? We know ownership is the way in which we can really begin to shift how our stories are told, and we have to be the ones telling our own stories. And so I absolutely believe in playing the music and telling the stories that deserve to be heard. And that's what we try to do at E3 Radio, is amplify the voices of the underrepresented and the ones that aren't heard in mainstream media.
I love it, giving them a platform. So how has E3 Radio changed in the past 10 years? I said 3, but 10 years.
Oh, goodness. I can't count the ways in which we've changed. I mean, we started with doing multiple shows, different shows on Blog Talk Radio at one point. And then we decided we needed to be on all day. We've had so many evolutions. And today we're on all the time. From our website, right? Playing music, telling stories. We're about to get into the podcasting game. I've had a podcast for a couple of years. And right now we're developing an app to make it easier for folks to listen to the station, which is exciting. It's called The Cube, Qube. Awesome. And so it's going to be a curated destination of music and podcasts by BIPOC and QTPOC Creative. So very excited about that. It's supposed to drop in October. So we will see.
Nice. We're looking forward to that.
Yes.
So entrepreneur, so much has changed in the workforce, right? In the past couple of years, especially with all the craziness going on. So I don't know about you, but in my community, in my circle, a lot has changed with how people are working, they're creating their own businesses and so forth. So do you have any advice for people that are coming into they're creating their own small businesses nowadays?
Give it everything you got, right? I think it's extremely lonely. I think it's extremely lonely being an entrepreneur. You can feel very isolated. So find your community, find your people that are going to support you. You'll have so many different roles. One moment in a day, I'm a lawyer sending contracts. Another moment of the day, I'm the accountant doing the books, right? And QuickBooks. Another moment of the day, I'm doing marketing and figuring out how in the world do a TikTok and an IG reel, okay? And then at some point in the day, I have to be a radio personality and interview some folks and do the show and make sure music is running. There's just a lot that you hold in any given day, in any given moment. And you can feel like you're not getting anything done when you're doing so much. So definitely find a community of people, your people, who are going to support you, be there for you, listen, right? And also people who aren't going to hold it against you when you don't have time to do much else than do all of those things and sleep. Okay.
Find time for sleep for sure. That is number one, right? Because you are going to be wearing so many hats as a small business owner. Like you said, you're learning on the go every single day. Things are changing. So absolutely, but try to get some rest at the end, because then you're not going to be able to do all those things the next
I'm
day.
telling you the truth. Okay. Something you can never catch up on is sleep. Okay.
So true. Well, what an inspiration, E3 Radio giving a platform for those unrepresented communities. What was your, or what is your proudest moment at E3 Radio?
That's tough. I think one of the proudest
You can say
things.
a couple. You can say a
I can
couple.
say a
It's
couple.
okay.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. I will say one thing we have coming up that I'm extremely proud of is when I turned 30, I started a benefit called the Purple Tie Affair, where we give back to my favorite nonprofits. And it's exciting. We've given over $10,000 to small nonprofits here in Chicago. Yeah, and we target small nonprofits making big impacts, right? And it's something I'm really, really proud of. This year, we're giving back to Sisters in Cinema, which is a nonprofit here in Chicago supporting women and non-binary filmmakers who identify as Black and brown. And it's dope. They're building a center, a media arts center here on the south side of Chicago, doing a lot of fundraising. So I'm excited to be able to support their work and raise awareness and amplify the work that they're doing in hopes to continue to up that fundraising goal that Yvonne
I love it.
has right now. So I'm really excited about that. Really proud of that effort. And honestly, I'm proud of just the amount of interviews we've done with folks who don't get that opportunity. So I'm always amazed when I talk with folks who I consider to be legends in the LGBTQ community who say that they've never been interviewed before, that no one has taken the time to ask about their stories. That it blows my mind. So I'm very proud that we have a platform that is able to give voice and tell the stories of folks who aren't heard.
As you should be. And I'm sure all of those people that you consider legends that are coming and interviewing are just so excited that they're given that opportunity and that ability to feel comfortable to come on and speak with someone that is encouraging that and trying to advocate for those circles, you know? So that's amazing. And if people want to find out more about was it the Purple Tie Affair?
Yes.
Do they come onto your website, E3 Radio?
Absolutely. So e3radio.fm, you'll see there's a link for Purple Tie Affair at the top in the navigation. Just click that and you can learn all about it. If you want to buy a ticket, want to be a sponsor, we're looking for all the things. Okay.
All the things, support in so many ways.
That's right. Oh, we have a silent auction, so it'll be online. So we'll have a lot of good things that folks can buy as well. So yeah, definitely go check it out.
I love it. Cool. And I loved the story behind E3 Radio and where the name came about to be in the pillars. You want to tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Sure thing. Yeah. I ran for Student Activities Board President in my undergrad, and I ran on the platform to educate, empower, and enlighten the student body. And it went to a runoff. I lost by narrowly lost. You know, I wasn't in a sorority. I lost the frats, they came out. Okay. But it was a good time. And when I started to think about what the name of the station would be, it just seemed to make sense to continue with the ease. And so I just swapped out empower with entertain, and it fit. And so that's where E3 Radio came from.
Love it. Very cool. So, all right, I'm going to switch a little bit. So we are so excited that we can give the opportunity for our listeners to learn a little bit more about E3 Radio as our client. And I reached out to Anna because I was like, I love what E3 Radio is about. And I thought it would be cool to just also give you a platform as one of our clients to just spotlight you, give a little bit more for our users, our followers, more information about E3 Radio and yourself. So thank you again for doing that. I would love to learn a little bit about how you came about to Tinq. So tell me how you heard about Tinq, first of all.
For sure. So thank you again for having me. I really, really appreciate you thinking about us. So what happened was we brought on a producer. And I was like, well, we need to track your time. Like, you're going to be hourly, right? We're still growing. How can we track your hours efficiently? Because we work in tandem with QuickBooks. And I went into QuickBooks and I was looking for, time tracker options, and Tinq came up. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I started doing some Googling and reading more about Tinq. And I was like, well, this seems simple enough. There's an app, everything, it has to have an app. Okay. And I was like, well, this seems pretty simple for us to use as a small shop. And my wife works as our payroll HR team here, and she got into it. I was like, this seems like it'll work just fine for us to count hours. It can sync with QuickBooks. And I was like, let's do it. Let's try it out. And it's been working great. I mean, the options for quick sign on, sign off options, having our days off and our calendar days, because what I consider to be a day off is not what most companies, I think, would consider to be a day off, right? And so being able to customize that within the platform, it's just been very easy for us to use and adopt for our day-to-day work.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And a lot of the things that you said resonates with me, because as a small business, a lot of the options need to be customizable. Like you said, you have to have the ability to make it work and make it make sense for your company, because E3 Radio is not like the ABC company, right? So you got to figure out how to customize and how to kind of create something that works for you and your employees. I'm so happy you found us, and we got wifey approved. That's awesome.
I'm telling you, it's tough. Okay.
So cool. So it sounds like you guys are using time tracking, time off, and you guys are both utilizing the web application as well as the mobile application.
Yes. So we use web application and the mobile app to track time, to do vacation time off. And my wife uses it for payroll to see how many hours, right, our producer has logged. And it's really been working quite seamlessly from that angle. And I also really like the customization features of what our producer can see and what he can't see. So I was able to enable some more features and disable some other ones that he just didn't need access to. So it was really helpful, because at one point he was like, I can't see my number of hours. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So we went in, I was like, oh, there's some features here. Let me see if you don't need this. And how's it now? And he's like, oh, this is perfect. This is just what I need to make sure I'm hitting the hours I need to hit. And I can go in and log in and check it at any time. So it's been really, really easy. And I can also tell how I can scale with the application. So as we bring in more producers, more editors, et cetera, who are going to be hourly, I can see how it's really going to be easy for us to scale with this app.
Oh, I'm so happy. It's always cool to hear what a user's perspective is on using an application, right? Absolutely. Our hope, and especially my hope as someone from the client success team, is that users have an easy time setting up their account. They're actually utilizing the features that they really need. It's not overcomplicated. So it sounds like it's been easy so far, and it's been beneficial for you and E3 Radio. That's so great to hear. So you found us on QuickBooks Online. I imagine your wifey is also utilizing the integration into QuickBooks. So as soon as she's approving the timesheets and so forth, she's pushing that into the QuickBooks application, or QuickBooks for payroll, correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. So if you were to break down the top 3 things that kind of changed as soon as you guys started using Tinq, what would those things be?
Oh, efficiency. Right off the bat, it lessens the amount of communication we need about hours, discrepancies, etc. I'd probably say that's the top thing, really. And that's really what we needed, especially as we think about how we're going to grow and scale, is making this as easy as humanly possible to pay people, right? We need to pay people. I mean, we know about the financial inequities that exist not only just with women, but people of color. And the last thing we want is folks having to wait to get paid. Okay.
Absolutely. We all need that money. We put in hard work. We got to get paid.
That's right. So it helps us to be efficient and pay people when they deserve to be paid.
I love it. I love it. So I think we've really covered kind of your experience with Tinq. We learned about you, Anna. Again, thank you so, so much. We learned about E3 Radio. Everybody check it out, e3radio.fm.
That's it.
You got it. And it sounds like so much exciting is just around the corner for you and your team. October is just around the corner. That is crazy. I can't believe it. So when you said October, I was like, wow, that's a long time, but it's really not. We're going into September.
It's like 6 weeks away. Yeah.
That is nuts. So make sure you guys check out e3radio.fm. Check out all of their amazing events going on. See any way that you can support. I'm so, so happy for you, Anna. 10 years coming strong, and what an amazing story, right? So many people are going through so many shifts in their life in this past year or two, especially. So looking to you and your story is such an inspiration for so many people thinking about asking these questions. Is this what I want to continue to do? Is this my moment? Is this my aha moment to move into something, my passion project, or creating my small business I always dreamed of? And you're living that. So that is so, so cool to share and really show, hey, you can follow your dream. Your E3 Radio started as a passion project for you. And here you are 10 years later, full time. And that's amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. That's so cool.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great sharing the story, but also sharing how Tinq has helped us be successful. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.